Welcome back to the channel where I provide regular cricket content on interesting topics. Today's video is the first of two where I am running down who I believe to be the best bowling partnerships of all time. A truly great bowling partnership can be a nightmare for a batting side, because there is just no respite. It is a relentless barrage of one good over after another. I have thought long and hard about what I am going to term as a bowling partnership, and I am sorry but I am not including spinners. Although some may argue that they at times partner, think Murali and Vas for example, but I am thinking new ball partners here. With that out of the way, let's get started with the top 10 bowling partnerships of all time. Number 10, Trent and Tim Southee. When it comes to making these videos, I often am neglectful of some of the great players New Zealand have had over the years. I don't mean to be, it is just they go about their business without fuss, drama or fanfare. To the point that I have to mentally remind myself constantly. Take Boult and Southee, they are probably one of the best bowling partnerships in world cricket right now, but I bet you didn't consider them when you at home were thinking of your list. To date they have taken 541 wickets as a pair, averaging 8.32 wickets between them per test. I don't want to give the game away early, but that is very impressive. Boult is probably my pick of the two bowlers. Using his left arm action and helpful conditions in New Zealand, he can generate very tricky movement. He has 317 wickets in tests at 27.5, so a good record also. Southee has 370 wickets at an average a smidge under 29, which is very serviceable also. I can't mention Tim without bringing attention to his six hitting when batting also. Check out my video on the six hitters in Test cricket to see where he ranks. Overall this pair have done a great job for the Kiwis over the past 10 or so years and have caused problems for many an opening batsman in that period. Number 9, Wes Hall and Charlie Griffith. If the 70s and 80s was the pinnacle of West Indies fast bowling, then they have Hall and Griffith to thank for showing him the way forward. In what is a strange coincidence, both Griffith and Hall started their cricket as wicketkeepers, but for differing reasons they gave fast bowling a try and immediately realised their talent. Pace, bounce and hostility were trademarks for both men, making a blueprint for what was to follow in later years. In Griffith's debut in first-class cricket he took the wicket of the current and former two England Test captains, demonstrating his potential. Hall is known for a number of match-winning performances, but one which stands out to me was when at Lord's he bowled unchanged for 3.5 hours and taking 4 wickets in the spell as well as breaking Colin Cowdrey's arm. Out of the two Hall has the better record, 192 wickets at 26.4 compared to Griffith taking 94 wickets at 28.5. But both were menaces to batsmen the world over. Fittingly they retired after the same match together after the Tour of Australia in 1969, and no doubt sat back comfortably and watched their up-and-coming pace colleagues take over their mantle so well. Number 8, Ian Botham and Bob Willis. Before anyone jumps down my throat, I know Botham didn't always open the bowling, particularly in his latter career. But early on when he first burst onto the scene he was legitimately quick, and a nasty opening bowler in his own right. In fact he took his first 200 wickets at an average of 21, that is right up there with some of the best bowlers in history. Both of their careers are often pigeonholed into the 1981 Ashes, but that is doing them a disservice as they were dominant performers for a number of years. Willis with his trademark hairstyle and run-up was a nightmare for batsmen when he was on song, generating good pace and bounce utilizing his lanky frame. As a pair they took 476 wickets together at an average of 7.93 per game. Willis over the course of his career took 325 wickets at 25.2. Botham's bowling waned and he probably played on too long, but he still managed 383 wickets at 28.4. Number 7, Michael Holding and Andy Roberts. The West Indies bowling of the 1970s and 1980s has been a bit of a headache for me when making this list. The reason being that they had probably 7 or more fast bowlers who are in the best 20 of all time, but you wouldn't say necessarily they had a partnership. Their bowling was so strong that it was referred to as either a quartet or more scarily, the Four Horsemen. What I have decided to go for then is who I believe were the real kickstart of the West Indies bowling dominance, Holding and Roberts. Wes Hall and Charlie Griffith may have made the blueprint, but Holding and Roberts really picked it up and built the machine. Holding, with one of the great nicknames in cricket history, Whispering Death, was known for his fluid run-up and action. Roberts was known for his almost deadpan expression. Wicket or boundary, not a flicker of emotion would be evident save a gunslinger's narrowing of the eyes. Andy Roberts kept his emotions in check. Holding is probably the most well-remembered out of the two. but it is worth pointing out that Roberts for some time held the record for the fastest bowler to 100 wickets. Although like Botham, Roberts' pace waned, he ended his career with 202 wickets at an average of 25.6. Holding called time on his career with 249 wickets at 23.7. Number 6, Sean Pollock and Alan Donald. Two bowlers who went about their business in very different fashion round off this video. Donald being the menacing, sunblock decorated, staring eyes berserker, while Pollock was more restrained, borderline quiet, but equally effective. These two almost sum up for me what a good bowling partnership is. Imagine you are going out to open the batting on a bouncy track at the Wanderers. You take guard and Donald is standing at the end of his run-up, staring you down. You glance back to the keeper and he is standing miles away, joined by a battery of slips. You take a deep breath and manage to gut your way through the over. But from the other end you have Pollock preparing to bowl, knowing from his close to the stumps delivery stride he is going to be on you from ball one. It is no wonder that these two were so successful for South Africa. In fact, they have one of the highest joint average wicket tallies out of any pair at 8.5. When playing together they took just under 400 wickets, hampered only perhaps by the fact their peaks only overlap by a couple of years. Both have tremendous records, with Donald taking 330 wickets in his Test career at 22.2, and Pollock taking 421 wickets at 23.1. All-time greats for sure, and an even better all-time great partnership. That wraps up part 1 of this 2-part series with some monster bowling partners to come. I always send it over to you guys at this stage and see if anyone can guess my top 5. I would be surprised if no one got them all, but we will see. As ever, thank you all so much for participating and watching the channel. I will be back in a couple of days with the top 5.